They're talking about crime is down.
Everyone knows they're lying.
$312 for 1 month of service. I haven't been in his house. Nobody's using my water.
This is communism. They offer you distractions so that eventually everyone's forced to revolt.
The crime stats are definitely a lie.
If people are still ignorant, they're going to stay ignorant.
Where is job?
Prince George County Executive Asia Brave Boy had an event. This is a fundraiser. So at this event, you know, they're expecting big money donations and special guests. Wes Moore showed up at the event, but there was also a surprise guest. And that surprise guest was none other than Hall of Fame quarterback, or let us say shamed quarterback, Colin Kaepernick. Now, this is a picture I took with my phone. I was a little far away. So right here is Senator Van Hollen. He can show up for Colin Kaepernick, but can't show up for the residents of Maryland. And of course, you have Zess Moore, in the background, and a little closer up shot. Zess with his head down, and then Colin Kaepernick right here. I made a post here, and I said Maryland Democrats are so weak. They had Colin Kaepernick show up to give a speech. And I really feel like it was that kind of Dave Chappelle moment of where's Ja? You know, if you think about all the issues that are happening in Maryland, with the energy bills, the crime, education system, it's like, yeah, let's go ahead and get Colin Kaepernick's input on this. If you don't know that Dave Chappelle moment, here you go.
Stop worshiping celebrities so much. Just don't listen, pay attention. I remember right around September 11th, Ja Rule was on MTV. That's what they said. We got Ja Rule on the phone. Let's see what Ja's thoughts are on this tragedy. Who gives a fuck what Ja Rule thinks at a time like this? Nigga, this is ridiculous. I want some answers that Ja Rule might not have right now. I think when bad shit happens to me, I'll be in the crib like, oh my God, this is terrible. Could somebody please find Ja Rule, get hold of this motherfucker so I can make sense of all this. Where is Ja?
Guys, so where is Ja? I want to show you what's going on in Maryland. This is my personal stuff. This is one of the houses I have in the city. It assesses at $336,000. Baltimore City, if you don't know, is its own municipality. It's an independent city. It's not in a county. It's its own municipality. Higher than any other area in the state. Baltimore City's property taxes. So $7,900 before the credits I tried to get. That's my property taxes. My water bill. Context, in Baltimore County, water bills are about, let's say, $50, $60 every 3 months. $312.69 for 1 month of service. The other part about this is crazy. I haven't been in his house. Nobody's using my water. When you look at your water bill, there's these infrastructure charges that are enormous. You're going to pay them regardless of whether you use sewer or water flow. Then this one, BG&E, these green energy policies that they've been pushing in Maryland have reduced the number of power plants that we have in the state. At the same time, they're trying to do this increase in quantum computing and build data centers, things that require more power. These are the energy bills. Mind you, I pay my bill on time. This is not carryover money from $679 was my August BGE bill. And this right here is the last one. Again, where is Colin Kaepernick? September 19th, 2023, there was a string of people breaking into cars up the street. Going up the street, breaking into cars. Both of my cars were damaged that day. I called the cops. They sent me to a call center, and the call center fields calls like this. I asked the cop on the phone, how many calls do you get like this a day? Right? He said, well, we handle about 10 to 12 calls every shift like this every day. There's 3 shifts in a day. So it's 30 to 36 of these calls every single day. These are the issues a lot of Marylanders are facing. And granted, like I'm going to say, I always have a sense of gratitude, right? And I want to put this out there because I always have start with a sense of gratitude. Right. I'm blessed to be able to do these things. But I'm also thinking about what's going on with a lot of people in these cities, right? And one of my attitudes is always, if I can't afford it now, how do I make more money? We live in a world where we have those opportunities. We live in America where we have opportunities. But at the same time, I don't want to be wasting my money. Around this time is when this culture of less crime reporting started. Because again, this event happened September 2023. I called the police. No police came. They didn't even come to the neighborhood and say, hey, is there anyone with any footage? Any cameras? Let's look at this. No.
They don't care. Dude, they don't. 80+% they don't recover anything.
But here's the thing. This is what goes into those reduced stats, reduced crime numbers, because no one is calling. This is creating a social condition to not call the police.
Ferguson. Welcome to the end of the Ferguson effect. This is the other end of what happens when you punish police for policing.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
They don't care anymore. They just go to work to collect a paycheck. You're no longer a cop because you believe in justice. You're a cop to get paid. You believe that the society is not filled with an overwhelming amount of dregs and bottom feeders. I hate to break it to you. They don't care about your crime. You're no one important to them. You're no one important to the city in that sense. So there's no one's going to jump up and down because you lost $150. That's $150 plus 10 times over in just that one block. It happened. You're saying in that precinct, it happens 30 times a day. Across the city, that means it happens 300 times a day.
But when you put that in perspective and they're talking about crime is down.
Good,
when you put that in perspective,
everyone knows they're lying because
everyone knows it.
Everything was smash and grab and all the stealing because they don't call it shoplifting anymore. You know, when entire stores are shutting down because it's just not safe for the employees and whatever, and the crime rate and all that. And then they're telling you crime is down. It's because, all those guys who destroyed all that commercial area, none of them got charged with a crime. So none of that crime is counted in that statistic.
But where's Colin Kaepernick when you need him? I mean,
Colin Kaepernick,
he didn't build AI for crime stats. He built AI to indoctrinate kids with left-wing he's the spokesperson for left-wing reading propaganda. That's it. This is communism. As the culture burns, they offer you distractions so that eventually everyone's forced to revolt. That's all that's going on. The same thing you've been warning people about for the 5 years I know. Here we are 5 years later. No one's done anything.
the crime stats are definitely a lie around the country. You'll notice a couple of things. Number one, all the blue cities that have been plagued by crime for decades, notice how they all started to say that their crime numbers were down around the same time, right?
mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. So we have got active investigations in DC and Chicago surrounding the reclassification of crime data from violent felonies down to misdemeanors. We, on the Social Finance channel, we've done several videos about this. Not only that, Congressman Jim Comer has initiated an investigation of the Biden era FBI because even they were declassifying and outright omitting crime data to make things look and appear safer than they really are. People, I implore you, every time one of these mayors comes out or police chiefs and says that crime is lower, there needs to be a RICO investigation, a RICO grand jury convened at the federal level, because somewhere along the line, they are reporting this data up. And there's got to be a document out there somewhere where some police chief is signing off on that says, I attest to this upon penalty of perjury. Okay. So they're doing this old Soviet trick where, crime doesn't exist. But if you walk down Poplar Grove, you'll see that the data is absolutely false. Not only that, CNN just did a survey in DC. 91% of respondents in DC said that crime is out of control.
Wow. And where's Colin? Where's Colin? So Colin was at this event in Ocean City, Maryland, to tease a partnership with his Lumi AI or something like that. Lumi Story AI to democratize storytelling. And it's crazy because a lot of these politicians are aligning themselves with people who hate America, who hate the country. To me, it's like, how are we really wanting to solve problems if you don't even like the place that you are?
It's not that they don't like the place. They want to be in power. They want it their way. Like, this is the same thing that happens everywhere else where a form of Marxism is trying to take root.
I agree, man. But this is we have to expose this, right? Because it's what the jig is.
That's what I'm saying is, like, at this point in time, if people are still ignorant, they're going to stay ignorant. Minimum for the last 8 months, everything's been exposed thanks to the antics of Trump.
Well, are you suggesting that we stop talking about these issues?
No, I'm suggesting we stop thinking that there are toasters that can be reached and only talk to the people who are like-minded and already on the battlefield. Because if you're not already in the game, then it's too late for you, bro. I'm sorry. Like, look around. You just showed the cost of living in what used to be a very reasonable place to live a decade ago. And that was when he was fucking it up before the last time, McAuliffe or whatever the fuck his name, right? And when he ran up the tax bill for everyone, that's what got Hogan elected. And even then, it was still a much more affordable place to live. We are at a tipping point in history, boys and girls. This is what I've been saying all year. This was the whole dark horse thing, is we're not at the point in the story where the horse is outside the gates. We're at the point in the story where they're burning down the city. That's where we are. That's why it's this bad. That's why things are this messed up, because people have to recognize at what point on the storyline we're at.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that, to your point, a lot of this, like in Maryland, for example, you can make the argument that you're not going to vote your way out of it because of the makeup of the electorate. So, as you know, I'm a proponent for just voting with your feet and your wallet and taking your money to where it's treated better. The states have a balanced budget amendment. They can't run deficits, or they're not constitutionally supposed to, like the federal government can, because the states can't print money. But yet and still, California's operating under a deficit. And what did they do with those deficits? They just
carry them as budget lines.
What you showed, Logic, okay? Watch what happens to those numbers next year this time. Mm-hmm. Because we're going to have another deficit for next year. And on top of that, what also is going to contribute to that is the liability case for the juvenile justice facilities, okay? So that's going to be in the billions of dollars on top of the already baked in deficit that we're going to have. So you ain't seen nothing yet. You two better have an exit. And when I say exit strategy, you can't escape it by moving to a different county in Maryland. You got to get the hell out of the state, because ultimately, right now, on average, 37%. That is what the average Marylander pays in taxes. 37%. What will that be by 2030? 50. You're looking at 50%.
Yeah. Dude, it's craziness.
Guys, if you haven't already, hit that like button, share this video, subscribe. Again, we're Just the Guys podcast, and our goal mission is to bring back shame